Do you struggle to understand Jordan Peterson's concept of finding meaning in life through responsibility? Then listen to this entire video where I reformulate his concept and explain how voluntarily choosing struggles and challenges in life is what will bring you meaning. And I will try and make this more relatable to you. So before we get into this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, Jungian psychology, and how to reduce suffering in life. Let's get into it. So obviously, Jordan Peterson's flagship concept is that meaning is found in life through taking responsibility. Now, he says the same stuff. It's like, pick up a load and carry it. Bear a burden voluntarily. Now, I could never personally quite understand what he meant by that, because the concept of adopting responsibility and that it would lead to meaning in life seemed a bit like far-fetched or like peculiar, not really relatable to me. Like, why would doing something really difficult bring you meaning in life? Like, it just wouldn't quite resonate. But now, I absolutely get it. And I get it because I have felt it. I was crying 2 days ago, and I had this certain revelation. Something I was writing a letter to somebody, and it absolutely hit me. Like, I felt meaning. And it was a strong feeling. And I quickly reached for a pen and paper to note down what I had realized and what I was feeling, because I suddenly knew the equation for meaning in life, and it was exactly what Jordan Peterson tries to promote, except he doesn't, I think, explain it in the best way, but I'll try to make that more understandable. Now, the thing you need to understand with meaning in life is you cannot grasp the meaning of life with logic and your intellect. It is not something to be thought, it is something to be felt. And Fyodor Dostoevsky's book, The Brothers Karamazov, which Jordan Peterson encourages you to read, there's a quote that says, "Love should come before logic. Only then will man be able to understand the meaning of life." Again, love should come before logic. Only then will man be able to understand the meaning of life. What Dostoevsky is trying to say is the meaning in life is something to be felt. It is love. It is a feeling. It is not logic. So it's really key to understand that. Okay, but let me try to deconstruct the concept of responsibility and try to make it resonate with you as much as I can with logic. Like, the best way would be if I would be able to enable you to feel meaning, but of course that's impossible because I cannot transfer the 100% accurate feeling that I feel onto somebody else. Hence, the best I can do is just try to make it conceptually more relatable to you. Okay, so as Jordan Peterson says, life is suffering. This is a bit vague, and the word suffering is quite dramatic, it's quite harsh. What he means is there is a lot of difficulty in trying to maintain a life that is somewhat durable and worth living. Like, it's an uphill task. So let's say if you want to get a good job, you'll need to go through a challenging education where you'll have to work really hard. That is difficult. If you want to build a family, you'll need financial resources and also need to offer patience and understanding to your family members at times when you feel like you never want to see them again, where you're so angry with them. That is difficult. So no matter what you do in life, you will always have to deal with problems that piss you off and wish you didn't have these problems. Now, let's get to the meaning part. You feel meaning in life when you choose to do something difficult and challenging despite the difficulty of the whole situation. It is precisely the mix that gives you meaning. It is knowing that you took on a bloody tough challenge despite your life situation making you want to crawl into a hole and hide from life because it just terrifies you. The antidote to suffering in life is not pleasure, which at first might seem the logical answer to pain, but that is not correct. The antidote to suffering is to voluntarily choose to do something difficult, let's say like build a business, start a family, despite the pain of life already being present in your life. It is kind of like you mitigate the pain of life by actually voluntarily choosing to engage in more struggles. It's all about doing what you fear and what makes you uncomfortable when the world is already terrifying and a part of you wants to hide from it. It is exactly that. It's if I could boil it down, it is precisely that dynamic. It is choosing to fight despite it already being so hard. And then once you have done that and you look back on it, then you feel meaning. So it's kind of like you find meaning by choosing more struggle when you're already facing pain. It's like, well, you're already being crushed by the inherency of life, but you counter it sort of by actually choosing to bear more suffering or more struggle. That's kind of what it's like. Because like when you look back on the times of your life when you were suffering for some reason, but you continued fighting and trying to develop yourself and solve the problems you face, it is that realization which gives you meaning. And I felt this meaning. This feeling makes your entire existence vibrate violently and your soul just sings. It's what I felt recently. It is super intense and it was accompanied by tears. Like it was like the tears were sort of like you can't control yourself. Your soul is autonomously sort of singing. It is alive in its purest form and it takes hold of you. Now, if we relate this back to Jordan Peterson's concept of taking responsibility, another way of thinking about it is responsibility in his case is you choose to do what is difficult in life. Of course, you should do things that energize you, like you shouldn't do ineffective, difficult things, but there are certainly enough opportunities that excite you but scare you because you know the path entails serious struggle. And I guess, we are called to do those things because they frighten us, but there's some part of us like that is predisposed to do those things and be called and drawn in by those things. So it's all about contending with the circumstances you find yourself in life and choosing to battle them instead of folding under the circumstances of life. And that is the equation for meaning in life. It psychologically hits the head on the nail. When you do this, your soul will be alive and the feeling you experience will be the best feeling in life. So this is something like, in conclusion, the meaning of life is in taking responsibility. But what that means is choosing to battle the circumstances you face, despite the circumstances being frightening and painful. It is the choice, the voluntary choice of continuing to battle and fight and actually taking on responsibility, because the responsibility is kind of like, it's the choice. You could substitute responsibility for the voluntary choice. You choose to go on an adventure that frightens you. And that is the responsibility because you consciously take that decision. That's what it is. And that's what Jordan Peterson means. And when you look back on some difficult times in your life, they will very often actually be the most fondest memories because they provoke that sense of meaning within you. Like that moment was meaningful because life was hard, it was really painful, but I actually took on the burden and decided to fight through it instead of folding underneath it. And you have the potential to fold under life because it is tough. It's no joke. Life is no joke, and a lot of people do fold and collapse underneath it and sort of fall victim to it. But it is the courage, the bravery, and the strength to continue to go out into the world despite it frightening you. That's meaning. That's where you find it. So Please leave a comment below whether this video helped you, or please give me some feedback whether this video helped you understand Jordan Peterson's concept of finding meaning in life through bearing responsibility, and whether it's a bit more understandable now. So it's really like, it's a very psychological thing, and I think it's essentially the narrative of Jesus Christ, taking the burden of the world's suffering upon yourself. That's like an extreme version. And if you emulate that, you copy a set of behaviors that prime something within your nature, within your being, psychologically and physiologically, that clicks and emits the most intense feeling you can experience in life. The meaning of life, I would call it. The meaning of life is a feeling. You feel that. Yeah. And it makes life worth living. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, Jungian psychology, and how to reduce suffering in life. Thank you for listening.